Let's get it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so we're looking at that camera over there.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. What is going on? It's your girl CPositivista and welcome back to another video. So on this video I have got
Ric Flo.
Ric Flo sipping a drink. It's cool.
J2O.
It's cool. That's how we're laid back.
Exactly. You set the vibes right. I like the guitar.
Of course.
I like. You know what? I've got one of these from India as well. Like,
yeah, just
all them positive vibes and vibrations about to start.
That's it.
That's not really. Woo! We're getting there. You know what I mean? So yeah. You know, I love the energy and the aura you're setting up for the space.
Yeah.
So,
listen, I knew you do music, so I'm like, listen, I need to get some kind of instrument up in here, and yeah, I hope you can appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, I like it. Thoughtful.
No long thing. Let's get straight to the topic.
All right.
Your success. What's up?
My success.
Yes.
Where do I start though? Like,
and
what does success mean to you? I guess.
Success. Just, I heard. I was listening to your song earlier. Okay. Do you?
Yeah.
Right. And the lyrics on that song was basically just not to allow your past or not to allow your circumstances to define you, and just do you and just shine. And I was thinking, wow, that's amazing. So that to me is success in the sense that despite whatever you've been through, which we are going to get into, despite any of that, you still decided to do you.
Yeah.
So how did you get to that point of saying, okay, whatever it is that I've been through, it doesn't matter, I'm still gonna do me? Let's talk about it from there.
Alright, so the journey of Do You basically was that I did a project about my experience in foster care. A boy called Rick is the name of the project. And I thought if hip hop is the voice of the voiceless, why have I never heard from the perspective of a young person that's been in care?
Yeah.
So like when I used to rap when I was younger, I was cool with it, and it was fun, but then I guess just dabbling into kind of the more personal experiences and the response I got from some of my biological family, it was almost like one of my sisters said it was depressing, and it was just one of them things where I was just like, I'm proud that I've done this, but I just need to. How can I explain it? I just need to get it out there. I just want people to listen to it. I was inspired by like Tupac, Lauryn Hill. I was like, this is a real story. This is about my life.
Conscious music.
Exactly. Although the thing is about conscious, I think all music's conscious to a certain extent. I mean, but that's another story. Anyway,
you wanted something real and authentic.
Yeah, and talk about success. The irony is, so I sent it to like BBC One Extra, all the bait stations about. I guess I released it 6 years ago.
You went in. You were like, I'm gonna send this out.
Yeah, because I didn't really know no other outlet. I didn't really like SPTV was bubbling, but it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't really know how to get it out there. I was just like, let me just do what I can.
Was your heart pounding? What was?
Nah, because it's the internet, so I was just like, and I thought that was the only way you could do it. Like, so cut long story short, I remember Julie Adenuga, like, she liked one of my songs, Hide and Seek. She was like, yeah, keep on going, keep on doing your thing. Yeah. But apart from that, none of the stations, and she wasn't really, I think she was at Rinse at the time. She wasn't on, like, Beats One as she is now. But, so yeah, One Extra, none of them were feeling it. Well, it's not that they're feeling it, it's just that, as I've noticed now, like, there's gatekeepers, and it takes a bit of time.
You need to know somebody who knows somebody.
Exactly. So how can I explain this in a concise way? So I wasn't really getting love from basically the bait stations. Yeah. So I remember the exact point of when the transition happened. I was alone at Christmas one day, and I was kind of pissed off, to be honest, because one of my sisters said that she was going to meet me on Christmas Day, but then the day before she was like, nah, it's cool, I'm going to meet my friend. And the thing is, I'm a man, so I was just like, I'm going to own this, it doesn't matter. And but then as soon as I was looking through Instagram, Facebook,
you see everyone with their families.
Exactly, I just felt like shit. So I went for a run. I remember
on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day, because running is like my meditation. So like it just made me feel like more chilled. And then I remember taking some photos when I got home, just like that. And I did some poetry on the photos, put it on Instagram. I deleted that now because the photos look quite
outdated.
Yeah, and just they look kind of depressing. Yeah. Anyway, I remember at the time when I was running, I was like, hold up, I had an epiphany. I was like, let me try and get my project out to every single social services email just could find.
Yeah.
And like now I understand like 2.0 as like that's me that's saying getting to my audience. Because at the end of the day, although like One Extra or whatever bait station, they might not appreciate it as like just another rapper, but when it comes to, I can't necessarily get to a foster kid because you know how it is, but I can get it to social services, they'll appreciate it, and they can just send the link over to the young people that you look after.
So you found your niche.
Yeah, so basically, I sent it to every single social services email address I could find on Google. And then Swansea, out of all places, were like, hey, we love your song Hide and Seek. Our theme for our Young People's Looked After Awards is I Can See You, Can You See Me?
Wow.
They want to choreograph a dance to your song.
Wow.
Do you mind performing it up here?
That's amazing.
Yeah, so like when that happened and just seeing the creativity from the young people on my song, I was like, rah, like this is powerful. Like, you know, these young people are like, oh, are you famous? Can you sign my CD?
Wow, and they responded to it.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
So then Do You actually came about from seeing their response. And I was coming on the train from Wales. I was like, rah, so I just started writing like, it's amazing to see what I create is resonating when young kids caught up in a similar mix. It just started flowing out of me because it was the initial experience that I just had. And then in the sense of the success of Do You, funny enough, 5 years later, like it got championed on BBC Introducing last year.
Amazing.
Like Twin B was one of the first to play it, who's like Stormzy's mentor. And then like Shannon Sinclair, A-Dot played it. And yeah, it was, I think it was BBC Introducing Track of the Week, I guess, or month, I'm not too sure, February last year.
Yeah.
So you could say that was like the second wave of the success.
Yeah.
But the initial success is just like, just seeing it resonate with people that lived a similar experience to me, putting their own creativity to it. It's just like, rah, you know what, I've got to keep on going.
And so, that to me, that to me is success. You know, so many different other people might say success is determined by materialistic things.
Exactly,
and for me, success is being able to utilize your story. Being able to utilize who you are, who you were born to be. And that, you're doing that, you're killing it.
Yeah, you know, and the thing is I would say about success is that people, like when I was younger, I used to think if I took a year out of uni. And I was like, oh, like I'm a failure for taking a year out of uni.
Wait, what did you study at uni?
Graphic design, new media.
Nice.
Yeah. So the way I see failure now, like how can I explain it? I mean, there's no such thing as failure, essentially, in the sense of there's going to be obstacles in your life and you're not always going to win at that time. But if you see the lessons within them situations, then they're going to turn to blessings. And that's when the success happens. But, you know, if you like fall on the first hurdle, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You just got to keep on going.
Music, yeah.
You just got to keep
on
going.
That was some lyrics there. You might need to put that on your next track still. Yeah. My next question is then, how important was it for you to share your story? Because it's like you're making music, which is amazing, but how important was it for you to share your music, so to incorporate your experiences to your talents?
Well, like I was fostered in Bournemouth, so I was supporting local acts, doing talent shows around there, but it wasn't until I got to uni, beyond like saying the bait subjects like that's basically getting money, clubbing and all that stuff. You just all of that stuff. I think is when I graduated uni, when I started to, I said to myself, before I'm 25, I want to do 3 things. Actually, it wasn't before I was 25. Before I die, that's what I think I said. I was like, I want to meet my dad.
Wow, like a bucket list.
Yeah. But it was like real, just like simple. I was like, I want to meet my dad for the first time. I want to go skydiving, and I want to make an album. I want to make a project, music-wise. And to be honest, the project at first was called Call of Duty because I was just like, you know what, it's not Call of Duty, it's my time. I've got to make some music. Exactly. But then the more I kind of just thought about concepts, I was like, I knew about A Child Called It because initially my name was a boy called Rick, and it was inspired by A Child Called It, the book. And
yo, that book, you guys check out that book, The Child Called It.
Yeah.
It gets you thinking.
Yeah. So and you could say, even though as traumatic as that person's story was, the book was a success.
It was.
So that was a hint of like, in the sense that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and just knowing a kind of route to success was like, you know what, that's inspiring what you've done within books. So let me try and apply that to music. So I guess A Child Called It helped. And then as I said earlier, just music being the voice of the voiceless was like, I guess with graphics as well, just being a creative person, I always wanted to come up with the most unique ideas, and just uni nurturing that creative space, and me thinking, what can I bring to the table within hip hop? I was like, I had to talk about that story. There's no other way. I mean, if I'm actually doing hip hop, I have to come at an angle. Whereas I know it's easy to talk about friends and clubbing and but that's gonna be cliche. There's no, to a certain extent, even though if I do it now, it's gonna be natural because I make music within the moment, and I don't always want to channel the past. Let's say at that time, I was like, what's the most unique story I can bring to the game? That's authentically me, and that's how it came about.
And the thing is that it's just like what you said, your story.
Yeah.
No one else has your story.
Yeah,
no one else has been through what you've been through. I mean, we can talk about the fact that I was in care, you were in care, but our paths totally different.
Yeah.
And amazing. Wait, so did you do the skydiving then?
I went skydiving. I met my dad for the first time.
You're crazy! You actually went skydiving? No. That's legit. So how was it meeting your dad?
It was cool, like...
was that the first time you had
First time, yeah. Like, it was disclosure, really. I didn't have no expectations, because he hasn't been there for my whole life, so it's just more like, just let me see you, let me see how, like, how you operate. But the thing is, he had a surprise for me in the sense of, with his wife now, he had, like, two twin, like, basically my brothers.
Your brothers,
So so he brought them to the airport. Even in the sense of having any animosity in my head, it was all gone because I just looked at the little kids and like, who are they? It's like, it's your brother.
Oh my god.
So
that's beautiful.
And he's, to be honest, in the sense of how I see my mum and him, I'm more like him in the sense of just being calm and collected. Whereas my mum, like, she's really strong. But she's just very like feisty and she's a fiery woman.
Black woman. A strong black woman. About care.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's get into care. So how did you get into care? Or why did you get into care?
What I love about having the courage to put my story out there is that once the music was out there, I guess I tried to find any content that I related to, because I guess essentially it's about representation, and I just didn't find anything that, I guess at that time, even meeting my dad, without saying, it's almost like I'm trying to weave a narrative around my life that actually makes sense. Because let's say at the time I was living in Hackney, I was working in Richmond, actually, we won't even go into that story, but I was just trying to weave a narrative about my life that just made sense. Yeah. So, just after I put out A Boy Called Rick, I saw that there's a film called Farming that recently came out.
Is that about slavery?
Nah. Farming is about the phenomenon of, in Britain, between the 60s to late 80s, West African parents used to farm their children to white suburban families, so they can make the most of the benefits of living in this country.
Is that what your t-shirt is?
No, it's something to do with this.
Okay.
But shout out to Labram, like he's from Sierra Leone. But I just love the double meaning of this. As I'm a designer / a lot of stuff is designed by an immigrant.
That's it. So fair trade.
But so basically, I was a part of that story. My mum came over from Nigeria. She, I guess from just being like it being a trend within the community with her church or whatever, she's like, all right, I'm just gonna put my child with childminders. And from my point of view, I thought it was temporary, because I remember I was in what was the school called? Was it called Kingsmead? Basically, it was in Homerton. I think it's called Kingsmead. So I was in that first school, and I remember my mum said to me, it's like, next week, do you want to move to another part of London or Bournemouth? Now, I have no idea of the proximity of like... all I know is Hackney Market, McDonald's, and Bournemouth just sounds like a new place. So I just say Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But then, you know, life changed as I knew it. And pretty much it's a big definition of my life. So, yeah, so I was part of that phenomenon. So, I guess in the sense of how social services were regulating it, they wasn't... Like, I've only just talked to like a social services agency about this recently, and they had no idea about how many like black youths were coming in and out. Yeah, they were just they just saw a register and it's like, all right, cool, that's what's happening. But what happened is that I guess after a while, because my initial carers were racist, and even when I got to move with the mum was cool, but then the foster brother was like practicing his boxing on me. Like a combination of that / going back to my mum's in the summer holiday and just being, as they would see, neglected for the 6 weeks holiday. Yeah. They were like, all right, cool, we've got to take control of the situation. Yeah. So then,
well, you didn't feel neglected by your mum, though, did you?
You know what? Not necessarily, but the thing is, this is what I find funny about how I looked at things as a kid, and I kind of try and explain it in my first project. Is like, you feel like a kid in between two worlds. And like basically the only world I knew was my mum's world, in the sense of like, all right, cool, it's dangerous outside in Hackney, and I'm just in this house, even though I see kids playing outside, even though like from the estate, like I'm looking down and seeing kids playing and it looks fun, like this is all I know basically. Yeah. So but then this is the thing, when you see another reality, so when I was in Bournemouth and I'm playing Kirby, Kiss Chase on my bike, just like going around these roads, obviously going back to London it doesn't feel right, and plus in a sense of like you're easily influenced by your carers. Carers are like, oh, so what? Like obviously you prefer Bournemouth to London because you don't even get to play there. Your mum doesn't treat you right. Obviously they're manipulating me, but in the sense of like I don't know how to digest it. I'm just like, oh shit, what's love? Like, because although they're racist to me, they show me love by giving me presents at Christmas and letting me out to play. Whereas, okay, cool, my mum's showing me love by, you know, giving me food and like, you know, like even though she's disciplined, like she's your mum. That's all I know. But so I don't really know how to digest these emotions. Yeah. So it was difficult in that sense. But I guess overall, as a kid, you don't really dwell in it. I didn't really dwell in it so much, so I just made sure I was just having fun. Yeah. So whether it was like neglect to other people, I just remember I just had the TV on watching WWF, you know, Sonic, whatever was on television. Yeah. I was just making that, like, in a sense of creativity. Yeah. As a kid, like you just make the most of what you got around you. So I've got the sofa, I'm jumping off the sofa. You know, I'm bringing the clock's breaking because I've been jumping too hard. Like my mom's got tapes, so whatever, like Now 97. So I remember maybe Peter Andre was on there. Maybe like I remember like I don't know, NSYNC, so just some bait pop music from back then. But I'm just making the most of the moment. But as I said, once I saw another reality, I wasn't really enjoying London that much. So yeah.
You just recently said about the clock at your mum's house. Yeah. I heard one of your tunes, and at the end it had like a tick tock. It was almost like you need to wake up, and it was like in the video you was pretty much just sleeping, gazing, and really thinking about I don't know what you was thinking about. But obviously I'm just interpreting what I understood from the song, and you were talking about how like you didn't really have any friends, but what you remembered was you being in the room, the TV, and you waiting for your mum to come back from work. That was dope.
Yeah, just another. Yeah,
and the tick tock at the end, and it was dope. Yeah. I was like,
I haven't listened to the song or seen the video in a minute, but yeah, I'm glad you got the vibe. Yeah, that was pretty much trying to show a day in the life of how it used to be. I had to do my research. Yeah, exactly.
Is it then?
Hey. You know what?
Did you enjoy being in care at any point?
Yeah, it got better as I got older. Because I think there was two things. I think it wasn't necessarily me understanding the situation more. It was me being put with better carers. So, the first family, as I said, they were racist. They were like, to me, even though I haven't really digested the full understanding of the history of that family, where I was in Bournemouth, let's say it's called West Owl, Kinston. It's probably the equivalent to what Hackney used to be like. It's like the roughest area in Bournemouth. Yeah. And but what I'm still trying to understand, I think the people I was living with, they're like gypsies, because they had like a
caravan.
Exactly. So
you not lived in a caravan.
So they had a house, but the caravan was in the front, like.
They were like, we're not letting go of our caravan.
They had a horse in the back garden. They had ferrets. They just had a mad house. Like, I remember they lost a horse because it jumped over the fence and went into the common.
They lost the one horse that they had.
And they got another one. I don't like, honestly. Honestly, if someone from Bournemouth watches this, you gotta explain to me what the hell was going on in that area. But anyway, so as I got older, what happened is that I would say that it wasn't just that the family were middle class. It was more like, so I went to fast forward, I was in 4 placements. 1, 2, 3, no, 5 placements, but then one was overnight, so I look at it as 4, but 5 placements.
Yeah.
So the 4th placement, she was a single parent, and she was amazing. I didn't even have a passport at the time, and I remember she was going to Florida with the other kids in the house.
And you couldn't go.
And I couldn't go to Disney. Disney, Florida. And I went. I went with some next family. I can't remember the family, but I just remember just being pissed. Even though I'd never been on holiday, just the idea of Disney in my head in Florida, I just like So anyway, I was coming into my teenage stage. Like, I think I was 13, and I was just being a little shit. So. She couldn't handle my behaviour, and I think I ran away a few times as well, because friends were my world at that time, where home didn't make sense. So then I got put with another family, and that particular family, they're family to me to this day, like in the sense of how I see family, and the foundation of how I'm gonna treat my kids. They're that foundation, and I would say why is because look, like I'm gonna say my age anyway. I'm 33 now. If I, like, even though I said about my Christmas situation, only, like, that's me trying to amend my biological family, my London family, but they're retired in Spain now, but I can go over there whenever I want, and even though they're coming back over here and going to live in Bournemouth, if I ever want to stay with them, I'm always welcome. And just the unconditional love that they show me, even beyond care, not getting money, no nothing, just even liking pictures on Facebook or whatever, just keeping up with the journey and just encouraging, like that's why they're family. So yeah, that's why life in care got better. Plus, in the sense of social services and just knowing how they were a big part of life. Or school as well. Let's say what I do when I do public speaking every now and again to like social services organisations. I say social services help me because at the end of the day I've got a PowerBook G4, which is an equivalent to a MacBook Pro for college. Back then, that's what I mean. This is a long time ago. So I got that for college, and to be honest, to have imagine having a MacBook Pro at 15, going through U clubs, like everyone's just like, yo, look at Ric's computer, like they loved it. So that just gave me extra brownie points of being cool and whatnot. So like social services helped me in that way, and then in the sense of and they helped me get my camera, to be honest, eventually. Who else? My art teacher at school, just same as the family, just like at the end of the day, just listening, just like encouraging me, like letting us listen to music on our art lesson, like, so that's, I think, in the sense of like the message that I say to like kind of social services when I do public speaking is just like just got to be mindful and compassionate of the young person. It's not about your agenda, it's about what they want. And if you just plant seeds of just helping them be confident, plant seeds of just like helping them nurture their talents, then they'll, like, you're gonna, as I said, it's a seed, so you're gonna just nurture that person into the greatness they're supposed to be.
And not just that, like teachers spend a lot of time with kids, even more than during the week that their parents would spend. It's crazy. So teachers out there, just know that you guys are playing an important role within young people. So just keep doing your thing and just 100%. Keep sowing that positive vibes. Because I remember talking to someone one time and they said, you know, that their teacher said something that has stuck with them, and and that kind of caused me to think, and I thought, there's certain things that teachers have said. I've had teachers that have, you know, like during parents' evening, oh my gosh, see, she's so chatty, she's such a chatterbox, she always chats in the classroom, and now I'm a motivational speaker, and it's like, it's because they recognize that gift from early, and that's like your teachers letting you play music. They probably recognize that gift from early. Yeah. And
it's what kept me calm, like
therapy.
Because
therapy, let
exactly. Hey, you can leave that in.
Listen, mate. So we're about to go on a break. Yeah, because we need a little juice, a little water. All right, guys. So on live, we're about to go on a little break, and we'll be back very, very soon.
Exactly.
All right, let's go.